Zoom because of security reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
Some firms use WebEx, some firms use different things, so it's good to know. Hey, Lucas, how are you? Lucas, can you hear me?
It's muted, probably.
Oh, he's just muted, yeah. Lucas, you're on mute at the moment. Oh, there we go. Hey, good to see you.
Is it okay right now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi, Dirk.
That's great.
Hi, Dirk.
Hi, Lucas. Hi.
To see you.
Very smart. He's good to see. I put a shirt on as well, just for this. Who else?
There's a lot of jokes we could have now, but
yeah, I know. I used that joke last webinar about nobody having beards, which I thought was very disappointing.
I shaved for you today.
Did you?
Oh, thank you.
Not you, Sylvie, but Gary.
And Gary, I'm sorry, I have to confirm my ID because yesterday my mother-in-law didn't recognize me after my COVID-19 haircut.
Yeah.
I did it on my own, but because I don't see very well, instead of 2 centimeters, 2 millimeters, so you see that now.
Excellent. It's very good there. It's very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
I actually also tried with a beard, but it turned out that my beard continues to grow straight, so it just looked like I had an electric shock. So eventually I had to shave.
Right.
Nobody's talking about my haircut, which was one of the first after the opening. I mean,
yeah. It was a good one.
just being polite. That's how it is.
I've just gone on to I've done my second page of participants, so I'm thinking that's funny. Where did Raymondo go? There he is. Hey, who else have we got? Martin Simovat.
Ooh.
That was his answer, was it?
There is Raymondo. Hi.
Put on mute because they are doing some work around, so it's...
right. Oh, that was you then. That's okay. Okay. Sasha?
Raphael should be here as well, yeah, Sasha.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, Raphael.
Good morning.
Morning.
Oh.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Hi.
Hi.
I think we've probably got as many as we're going to get. I had a couple of people say they couldn't make it.
Yeah, Mika is one of them. Yeah. So.
Yeah, outrageous.
Yeah, it is actually. What is he doing?
Jogging.
You think, Gary, should we start or?
I think we can probably start.
Yeah. Yeah. Good to see everyone. World Services Group webinar number 3 in Europe then, yeah?
Yeah.
I think also there was some people from other regions going to join today, I saw on the web site, but I don't know if that has happened. I think it's Gary has done a marvelous job gathering the subjects, and I think this managing external communication with clients is really important for all of us now. And Gary, please take it away.
Okay. So as we discussed a few weeks ago, we were just talking through themes, and the last one we did was on internal communication. And this one came up a lot on people's comments regarding what we're doing about externally communicating with clients and contacts and people on the outside. And there were some interesting comments coming from the group. So I've already asked Hans from Plesner and Boris from Boynod to just give a short introduction on what they're doing, and then I'll just give a short piece on what we're doing, and then as we did last time, we can open it up to the group. If people can go on mute whilst people are talking, then that would help just with the video working properly. And then once Hans, Boris, and myself have gone through ours, there's then a poll that Margaret from WSG will put up, which is just some interesting questions, which would be good to get some feedback on. So whilst you're listening to everyone else putting their comments in, if you could just go through the poll and just they're relatively quick. There's not many. There's about 5 questions or something. And we'll go through it. So Hans, what I've managed to do somehow through the magic of technology is I've opened up your spreadsheet, and I'm going to share it with the group. As you start your intro into what Plesner have been doing to try and keep clients up to date.
Right. What we have done in Plesner is not surprising. A lot like all of you have done is we have organized a lot of news memos, sending out this article style saying we have had these new initiatives and this new legislation, and then giving sort of a brief of what is the new initiative from the government related to the coronavirus crisis, and that we all receive from various other offices from you guys. We receive it from the banks and so forth, and a lot of us have the same issue, like I, for instance, have, that we really want to read those articles because they're really well drafted, but we don't really have the time. And we thought that very early in the stage here that some of our clients might have the same issue, is they're looking for answers to something they need to answer fast, and therefore they would not have the time to go run through long memos and long articles and more sort of general information, but wanted sort of a straight answer to a straight question. So if anyone could open the spreadsheet.
I'm going to share it now, Hans.
Right.
Is that up?
That's up. Yeah.
Yep.
And
will you make it a little bit bigger, Gary?
Yeah, it's difficult to read.
Don't push it.
No. Right. If you,
I think that's about as big as it's going to get, I'm afraid.
All right. If you go down in the folders and you push on the one that says company, that's for company law. Anyway.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yep. Hang on.
We have the various bars down there. The one is,
so we don't want any of them. Did you want the corporate governance?
Yeah, corporate governance, for instance.
There you go.
And if you scroll up a bit, you'll see that we had a lot of questions. This corona crisis came just about the same time as a lot of companies. Basically, 80 to 90% of all Danish companies have the calendar year as an accounting year, and therefore their shareholders meeting where they need to approve of the accounts would be typically between late March and end of April. And we received tons of questions concerning what will we do with our shareholders meeting, our general assemblies. Are we entitled, are we not entitled to hold those? And what about the gathering prohibition of not more than 10 people could gather? What if we expect 1,000 people or 500 people to turn up? So these sort of straightforward but unprecedented questions that we try to address here with short question, short answer, and where will you find the right legislation. So not giving these lengthy talks about what is required and what is the law on this, but simply saying that, for instance, a lot of our clients call us and said, we normally have a shareholders meeting with up to, let's say, 500 people. We're not allowed to be more than 10. Can we then hold our shareholders meeting? Yes, you can. However, you can only hold it if they turn up less than 10 people, because if more than 10 people arrive, then you're not allowed to hold it. What is then our alternative? And then we sort of try to give them simple, straightforward advice to this, because this was a question for all companies. We had the same identified questions within employment law. What we'll do if we need to let go of people in huge numbers. We had the same in every different kind of law. We'd have these taskbars that you see down in the bottom saying the most frequent questions in the corona crisis and what is the sort of the short answer to this. It is so simple. It's sort of a no-brainer to do. Our experience is that it's been extremely well received by especially the CFOs and the general counsels in our various clients, and we have received tons of work just because of this. So we have sent this out to all our clients, and we have shared it. We have also shared it with all our sort of potential clients that we have been in talks with. And a lot of our clients, of course, is clients that we share with other law firms. And it has turned out that on the tasks that we are covering in these frequently asked questions, there they typically call us for their sort of follow-up questions and ask us to do the actual legal work to implement whatever is required. Going back to the company law, if they need to have an electronic shareholders meeting, that has to be catered for in the articles of association. So there we tell them how to do that, and then we do it for them. And so if we compare this to our webinars, our Plessner Insight memos, our website where you can find tons of articles, this has been the single most effective tool for us in keeping in contact with the clients, getting positive feedback, and especially getting new work. So this has been extremely helpful for us. And Gary, feel free to share it with everyone if it's not been sent out or mailed out to everyone. Because it's I think the beauty of this is it's extremely easy to do. And when you share it as a link to your client, they will get recent updates. And as you know, legislation is changing by the day, sometimes by the hour right now. And this is a way with short questions, short answers to always be on track, always be at the curve and not behind the curve. So it's been very, very efficient for us.
And do you send this out as this Excel spreadsheet on an email to all of your clients?
Yeah, we started out by doing that and ended up by sending out a link.
Yeah.
Now, basically, most of the people we want to get in touch with, we have touched, and they now have the link, and we can see it's being used every day by a vast majority of our clients.
Forgive my lack of technology, but is it searchable? If you went on it and typed in a question, would you be able to search against it?
I think we are on the same IT level, you and I. Okay. So that's why I'm so happy that this is why you and I fit in so well in this group. I think that you can. I must admit, I haven't used it myself that much. But again, I can tell you that once we have shared it with, they have all reacted in a way saying that you have solved an immediate problem at my desk by doing this.
Yeah,
and it is so straightforward that you can't believe it, and a very, very sort of old school way of doing it, but it works. And it of course it also is an obligation for you because you need to update it.
Yeah.
But that we have a Corona task force that is looking into that every day, and it's being concurrently updated. So it works.
Cool. Just for everyone's benefit, I will send this attachment, which is Hans's Excel spreadsheet, to everyone, and links as we talk through the rest of today after the presentation. So that'd be great. Any other questions for Hans?
I think there's one more initiative I wanted to mention to you, which also could be helpful to you. This communication for us, this is where we started out. We started out sending out the spreadsheet, a lot of general counsels called us back and had, as I said, follow-up questions to that. There, we decided that all these people who called back, since they had the same issues and they didn't call each other, they sort of have reluctance to call a competitor or call someone else. So what we did, we have now been organizing roundtable meetings like this one here with quite a few roundtable meetings, but only a few people in each. So we have like for the 8 biggest companies on our stock exchange, on the C25 as it's called in Denmark, we've had a roundtable meeting where we have let the general counsels meet, and then we have a partner from our firm who is hosting the meeting and is facilitating the discussion. But it turns out that they have extremely similar legal issues, but they don't talk to each other unless we sort of fix them up with each other. And that has become very, very popular. As within company law, employment law, of course. We have also had on GDPR issues, on competition law. We have had on a bunch of various issues and several calls within the same sort of group of issues. And that has also paid out extremely well, because people simply have a reluctance to call someone else that they know in their network, say, I have a problem. So what we've done is simply say, call in, we will discuss the government's new initiative on this or that. And then it turns out that they all sit down with the same practical issues.
It's an interesting point, and I will carry on that point when I just talk about what we're doing when I come to it. But thanks for that. Anyone got any questions for Hans just on what he said? No? Okay.
Are you, Hans, are you sending it only to clients, or are you sending it to prospects as well?
Prospects as well.
Yeah.
Prospects as well.
And can you track who's actually looking at which particular questions, or is that considered too intrusive?
We have decided not to track that. I think we have the technical ability to do that, but then it went legal in our GDPR department, and we decided not to. And we also decided not to use it aggressively. We decided to use it more passively, saying we send it out and say this for you to use and feel free. And then it's turned out that people call us back.
Very good.
Excellent. Boris, you sent me some interesting information about I think it's a client academy that you set up and started running. Can you give us a little bit more information about that?
Well, we started it. My voice, I think, comes double, triple. Is it okay?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay. There is an echo with me. So 2 years ago, we started a venture called Academy for Partners. Sorry. No. Okay, I don't know how to deal with the technology as well. It was very well accepted. We sent invitations to about 500 CEOs and general counsels and CFOs. And usually we had 2 meetings per month where we had our stars from the firm and some outside speakers covering the hottest for the market topics. When Corona came, we decided to switch and to make it online using Teams for Microsoft. It appears that it works very well. Now we mix it with participation of some of our lawyers. And in addition to the top-notch speech of the respective speaker, we have discussion afterwards between different general counsel with participation of our lawyers. I know that, for example, PwC does a similar academy. The difference is that they charge 3,000 euros. We do it for free. And the clients say that the quality we provide is pretty good. So Gary, as you remember, you are invited to participate as a speaker once you are ready with your topic. We also think about to include in the academy some of the topics which are not purely legal, but now we started survey among our contacts. So once they'll come back, we'll decide maybe we'll make it a bit broad. So I think basically that's it. But as somebody mentioned during those numerous webinars, a direct contact with the client is much better than webinars.
And so, Boris, are you asking the clients then to put forward topics that they want to hear about, or are you discussing this with them? How do you work out the topics?
Initially, when the season starts, it's our fourth season, we send the program to the clients, and some of them come back with suggestions. For example, we covered the GDPR just a year ago or more, and now yesterday we had a very, very interesting presentation about the same topic, but now with experience, with impact from the corona environment, and it works very well. So we are pretty flexible. When the lockdown came, we changed the program a little bit to reflect the situation. So we were talking about force majeure, employment, other.
And forgive me, but how regularly do you do these?
Before, a few times per month, now every week.
Wow.
Every Monday, 4 o'clock.
And roughly, on average, how many attendees do you have?
About 50.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, for this small jurisdiction here is pretty well.
Yeah.
And we have CEOs, CFOs, and general counsels. The level is pretty good. These are the largest banks and institutions.
Very good. Any other questions for Boris on that? No? Well, I look forward to coming on board, Boris, as a speaker, once I find something vaguely interesting to talk about.
Excellent.
So, just following on from what Hans was saying, I'm just going to share with you probably what most of you already have on your own firm's websites, which is your coronavirus COVID-19 hub. So this is our splash page, if you like. Can you all see that? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep. And as you scroll down, you can see the partner who's leading it. You can see we've got the WSG Global Task Force link on there. And then, similar to Hans, we've got shortcuts to either business support, business continuity, or support for individuals during it, which are the downloadable documents that are updated almost daily, hourly. But the bit I wanted just to talk about was these shared and halved webinars. I don't know if you're aware of the saying in the UK that a problem shared is a problem halved. And that was the theme behind some of these webinars that we've been doing. You can see some of the upcoming ones. Let's see, there's an in-house lawyer one, a business leaders one, etc. But the interesting point I wanted to make, because obviously everyone does all of this anyway, is on some of these webinars, we've actually created a community of all the external attendees be they clients, contacts, intermediaries, etc., into a closed community using Microsoft Collaborate, which is basically just a database, if you like, but it's password protected. So what this does, similar to what Hans was saying with his round table of a few clients, is this within this community, people can contact each other through the Collaborate platform and ask questions, which then either we or others can answer based on their experiences. And this has actually proved to be a fantastic resource, not only for clients who all know that they're in the same position, but some people may have good ideas for how they're dealing with it or not, but also for us to see the issues that are cropping up in particular sectors and be able to answer those maybe in a short article or LinkedIn post or email out, or indeed putting on a separate webinar on those particular topics. So the point I wanted to mention in this was the fact that we've used the webinar and the attendees to create these closed communities, which are a little bit larger than Hans's roundtables, but nonetheless actually provide a lot of assistance to clients that are in there, and also to us to be able to see what issues have cropped up. And this is just our splash page on it. So it's just to show you what was on there. Let me come off that now, back to normal. So again, it's sort of finding different ways of either using the technology that you've already got that you've never really used before, or actually finding some new technology that helps you, provide some form of communication to clients where people actually find it really helpful. So I don't know if anyone had any particular questions about that.
Gary, what was the program Microsoft?
It's called Microsoft Collaborate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think Gary, the enhanced. First of all, thanks for that, because I find it extremely interesting. Because what we see here is, and we are now getting out of the confinement. We have now the first week through. We're in the second week where restaurants start to open, and they have opened yesterday. It works amazingly well so far. But the point I want to make is we basically have to come out of the Corona mode into a new mode with clients looking forward. I think we are all honestly fed up with hearing the word Corona. I hardly look at the news anymore because it's extra program. And the same is for our clients. And I think they are not keen on getting any newsletters anymore. We know that the newsletters are basically, when we send them out, they are not downloaded and not read. And I think this is probably the way forward, because we all will see a different life for quite some time. And this is also how to keep in touch with clients. I got also from other law firms invitations to roundtables about arts, of how dealing with arts in the future, or something which is not really legal, but just to get the people together on some topic. And I think this is something we should have a much closer look at, how we can give an added value of what you're doing with different companies talking on mutual problems, because what I've seen so far is just talking about the problems is helping people already.
Yeah, I totally agree, Dirk. And I think it's highly likely that the webinar after the next webinar will be on, okay, so what are we looking to do in the future in relation to advising clients? It'll still be partly COVID related, but it'll be future gazing as opposed to dealing with the now. Also to that point as well, I'm going to send around a link when I send the email with all of the attachments on. I'm going to send a link to a webinar that we're putting on. I'm not trying to sell it. I think it'd be interesting for people to just see some of the things that we're we're offering, and we're offering it on. It's the new how, and it's essentially the use of technology. So there's the AI that we have that can review 100-page agreements in less than 2 minutes. There's a different form of technology that the real estate team now use, whereby they can also review leases, hold any number of leases on a database, allow clients to have 24/7 access, etc., etc. So there's various bits of technology that we've sort of had in the past and was moving slowly, but has now been accelerated into what's going to come after this crisis and what people are going to do, with legal advice and how they're going to use it. I'll send that link round because it might just be interesting, I think, for us as a group. Because if there are ideas there that people think would be useful, it would be good for all of us to say, well, maybe we should discuss amongst ourselves how we can all offer a similar system. Because if we're going to go to a European client and say, look, we can advise you on your real estate throughout the whole of Europe, and what we'll do is we'll offer you this 24/7 system that you can see all the leases that you need to see. It would be great if we could all either use the same system or have the same system or whatever it is. And I just think it would be it'd be good just to see the sort of things that we're doing. We don't all have to use them, but it's just ideas, and whether some of those ideas would resonate with people. I'll send that link around and then have a look.
But Gary, I think that's extremely important, because in this situation we have to go new ways. I think we all do a technology jump within 3 months, which normally would have taken 10 years. And this is not only for schools but also for law firms. And I mean, we had a virtual closing last week where we had a drone flying above the premises, seeing whether they are still okay, and nothing has happened in between. I've never done a closing with a drone flying above the buildings. And everybody was saying this is much better than climbing on the roof and having someone looking, so everybody could see what it is. We had it flying within the factory, seeing if everything is still there, because nobody could go there. That's something I think where we have to be in front of the technology to get clients on board and say we can do the deals even if you cannot travel, and the travel restrictions will be there for quite some while. Before you send someone for 2 weeks in confinement, you better try to find another way that the deal goes on. Yeah.
Can I just remind people that the poll is up? It should be on your screens, hopefully. If you can just flick through those questions, they won't take very long, as I said before. But in the meantime, has anyone else got any comments that they want to make about maybe certain things that they've been doing on external communications?
The poll doesn't work.
My one seems to be okay. Is everyone having trouble with the poll, or are they okay?
Worked fine.
Okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Well.
Okay. It's okay.
Okay. So while people are fizzing through that, how else are we trying to communicate with clients then around Europe?
Can I just make an observation about the type of conversations that I'm having with clients? I'm finding a bit of a change in emphasis in that the conversations are much more personal now. And of course, what we do is build relationships. People ask, what do we sell? We sell relationships. And actually, this has been a great opportunity in terms of getting to know clients and other lawyers on a different level, in a way, in terms of we're all in it together, talking about families, what we're up to. And I think that makes the thing much more enjoyable in a way, in that we get to know our counterparts much better. And I think it will hold us in very good stead in the future, actually, in terms of kind of embedding ourselves into those clients and other contacts. And I think that's just a bit of a byproduct of this.
Crispin, what you are saying is basically what we do. I asked my team to take the telephone, I mean the old one, and call every client on the list and just talk with them. And they were not very happy to do it. Something like, yeah, what should we talk about? I said, well, there are a few topics you can talk about now. And it was a huge success. Because clients they had the impression we are caring about their families, whether they are well, whether the firm is well, blah, 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 blah. The result is stunning. And it's simple telephone conversation.
It's strange how the old-fashioned phone call seems to work. Actually,
yeah.
Up to now, I think people are suddenly thinking, do you know what? I don't want to have a video conference, thank you, because I don't know, maybe they haven't shaved or they haven't got a shirt on. But I'd much rather just have a telephone call. It's interesting how that's suddenly switching a little bit away from everyone saying, oh yes, how novel it is to see everyone on the webinars. Oh, that's really great. And now it's like, oh, actually, can we just have a conference call? I mean, somebody asked me that last week, and I couldn't remember my conference call ID details because I hadn't used them for like 6 weeks. And I had to say, oh, hang on a minute, I've got to check my details because I couldn't remember them. So I think it will go. I think it will go slightly swings and roundabouts. But however you do it, I think a lot of the clients will remember those of us that have taken the time to actually personally contact them rather than just see them on a webinar like this. I think Crispin's right in relation to relationships.
I think the other thing is I've realized how easy it is to contact people, particularly intermediaries. And in the past, we would spend ages, weeks planning meetings and arranging to visit and all the palaver about that, and actually forgetting that you can just pick the phone up and talk to people. Much easier. And it'll be interesting what happens in terms of international travel and these kind of conferences that the IBA and so on put on, and whether people are actually going to bother with them to the same extent.
Yeah, Crispin, but please don't forget that no one is traveling. Everybody is at home, much easier available, so it makes it easier. I don't know how it will work once we are fully back to work and to our offices and travels will open and everybody will be traveling, try to do what they didn't do in March, April and May. So it may be a bit more complicated in the fall and in the winter. But you are right. We also experience the same, that clients and colleagues are available much easier than in the past. And it's relatively easy to organize a video conference or a phone conference, whatever kind of communication.
Yeah, completely fair point.
But I mean, let's be realistic. We won't see an IBA conference or something like that with a few hundred people or 1,000 people in 2020. And I think this is one of the challenges for all of us: how to get in contact with potential clients, with colleagues who are on our contact list and things like that. I think realistically, when I see also the restrictions going on an aircraft, honestly, I'm not going on an aircraft with a mask, with my fingers washed 5 times, then going again out of that. I've seen the 2 Lufthansa flights here on YouTube where they have tried it, and honestly, it just does not work. You get them orderly on board, but as soon as the plane has landed, everybody jumps up to get the luggage out of the bins, and you have 30 centimeters contact to everybody. That will definitely not work if they don't find another way forward. So for us, it means not only within WSG, but also with our contacts within IBA and other organizations, we will have the problem to find a way to communicate with our colleagues outside of our firms and outside of our networks. So the inflow from other firms, that will be one of the problems, and I can't tell you how we can manage this. I have no idea.
The IBA at the moment are thinking that they're going to give it until the middle of July, I understand, before they make a decision on the IBA conference in Miami. What is interesting is that a number of the North Americans are considering going, because obviously for them it's a short flight or a drive. Obviously some of the South Americans are also thinking of going, presumably because quite a lot of them have a second home in Miami. And so it's relatively safe from that point of view. But from what I heard from some of the other IBA committee members who are outside of North or South America, nobody is going to that conference. So either the IBA postpone it, or they make it like a regional conference, which I think would be quite a dangerous precedent for them to do, because then it sort of like begs the question of, well, are you going to do regional conferences all over the place then for the next year until this goes away? But we shall see. Stefan, I don't know if you've got, do you know what's happening about the WSG annual meeting in Stockholm?
Yes, it's been postponed.
Right, okay.
It's not going to take place.
Okay.
That was already mid-September, yeah?
Yeah.
And, when we talked about it, I felt them being the host, or our firm being the host, it would be kind of boring to arrange and think about this and gather all the speakers and stuff, and then no one will come because of the corona, and it's even earlier than the IBA. So we thought it would be sad for everyone, and also for us, of course, then to arrange something and no one will show up. So
yeah.
We have cancelled the IBA in total. We have people. I wouldn't say they asked us not to go, not to fly. We have cancelled the reception, everything. I think even if it would take place, Hoiking would not be present.
Yeah.
I understood, Gary, that the IBA is going to decide already within 2 weeks if they're going to have the Miami conference or not. But perhaps there's a lot of rumors going around.
Yeah, I mean, one of the IBA committees I sit on, they were saying that the IBA itself is, I think they're sort of hoping beyond hope that somehow they can keep it going. But I think the more they talk to people, the more they realise that there's not really going to be that many attendees. And of course, what was it now? It's the 11th. So when were we supposed to be in Budapest, Andras? Was it this week or last week?
Last weekend.
Was it last weekend?
Yeah.
That's a shame. Oh, you're on mute, Andras.
I agree with Dirk that we need to find new ways to meet people from all over. It's I don't know.
Yeah. Again,
it's going to take a while.
Taking on Crispin's point, it's a case of just personally reaching out to people, I suppose.
Yeah. I agree.
Thanks for doing the poll. I think almost everyone's done it. There might be one or two that maybe are having trouble, but if anyone hasn't, then just finish that off for the moment. What was it? And the next webinar is on going back to work and what does it look like. And I'm hoping that some of you in Europe, this is your second week with eased lockdown that allows you to do some work or have some people in the office, and that in the next couple of weeks it'll be quite useful to hear from you as to how you're getting on and what your office looks like and how you're dealing with practical issues like if you're in a shared building, what happens with the common areas like getting into a lift or using the lavatories, etc. What about public transport? Are you only allowing people to drive into the office, etc., etc.? So that will be the next one in a couple of weeks' time. And I have some people. I think I've got some people already down to again introduce that session. We won't be able to say anything because we're still in lockdown for another 3 weeks. But it'd be interesting to see what people's practical experiences are like, and also what they think the office of the future is going to look like. If it's going to be any different to what it's like now. Anyone got anything else yet still on the theme though, which is external communications? Anyone want to mention anything on that?
No.
I'll mention one thing now, and I have to say it's not my idea, it's Dirk's. But that's not because it's a bad idea. I think it's a very good idea. But I didn't want to take all the praise for it. And it's on the back of these webinars going on. I mean, obviously, it's going to get to a stage where, from a COVID point of view, we're going to have done all we can in relation to webinars and knowing what the hell's going on. But it's almost like, as Dirk said before, life after the pandemic. And whether it would be useful for the European group to have a regular webinar. Well, how regular, I don't know. But for argument's sake, we could do a monthly one. But to have it more in the mode of I say training, I use that loosely, but to the extent of, again, people learning from either us or indeed from external people that maybe we as a firm have brought in to talk about a particular subject matter within our firm that we've been having issues with. So it really would be a sort of like a learning session, and it would be in the case of somebody presenting for maybe 20 minutes or so, and people being able to ask questions about it. But again, like these webinars, people can put forward either issues that they would like to hear about in relation to either managing a firm, compensation, billing clients, negotiating fees, etc. It could be the whole gamut. To then see if anyone within the group is prepared to either talk about their own experience of dealing with that issue, or has already instructed an independent third party to deal with it, and that third party is happy to come along and do a session for us. Dirk, have I preceded your idea sufficiently?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great idea, and we are also doing our training programs internally. We continue. We also have trainers on special topics, and I'm sure I could, for instance, find someone on an interesting topic like acquisition after Corona, if you can't go to clients and have limitations. I would say that's a brilliant idea, yeah.
So I just thought, since we've got a number of us on the call, I mean, I'll send an email around to everyone anyway, but I just thought I'd just gauge if people were interested now in the modern world that we can use WebEx simply by clicking join a meeting and it's no big deal anymore, whether people would be interested in half an hour or 45 minutes once a month just as a group to just listen to somebody talking about something that we'd find interesting.
Yeah. And I think also this platform allows a lot of people to join, actually. So it could be also for younger people in our firms, not only the usual crowd, so to say. It could be like the World Services Group webinar, European schools or whatever.
No, absolutely. Margaret, I don't know if you know, but is WSG using WebEx events?
At the moment, we're using meetings, WebEx meetings, but hopefully if we do a larger group, then we'll start with events.
Yeah. So Stefan, to your point, we can, I think, well, at the moment, I think we can host up to 100 without a problem. And if we get more than that, we can then move it to a different software platform, which is what we do in the firm. So you're absolutely right. It's not only for us. It could be for anyone in the firm.
Yeah, which is good because we want to broaden the
Yeah.
Also, we are talking, for your information, about since the annual meeting is cancelled then or postponed in September, to have some type of meeting like this or a series of webinars with subjects like the one you are talking about as the annual meeting, in a way, to try to arrange something mid-September so we can meet anyway, even though if it's going to be like this.
Okay. Cool.
Can I just ask one question which I forgot to ask, and it also relates to the client relationship?
Yeah.
Have any of you faced any sort of a pricing discussion with their clients, where the clients mentioned that because of COVID, there's obvious price tension, and you need to quote for the work that you regularly quote at X, you need to quote half of X. Yeah. Have you seen that sort of arguments from clients? Because we have, and we have faced that in Poland, and I was wondering, and also on the European sort of level, and I was wondering whether this is more common and you see it as an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adina? Yeah.
I was saying that, yes, we had the same problem, and we've had requests from most of the clients, maybe not all, but most of them, to reduce the fees. And exactly as Lucas said, to quote maybe half of what would have been normally the fee for the relevant requested advice. To offer lower blended rates for at least for this period. Also, we had requests to extend the deadlines for payment of invoices.
Yeah.
We have a policy that we do not reduce invoices throughout the firm, but we extend the payment periods. In the beginning, this was a bit of a hassle. In the meantime, it's fully accepted with the argument when the economy takes up again, you can pay the outstanding amount, and that's the same we see with big landlords asking for the tenants are asking for extension of payments, but there are hardly any reductions. So it will be paid later, with the risk that the creditor goes bankrupt, but that's normal. And otherwise, we try, and so far we have the policy not to change our hourly rates, because once you are down, you will never get up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Italy we did the same. The request is in the delay of payment. In terms of discount, I would say that the clients made requests also before the COVID. So it's in general, in some way, unfortunately, that it's a habit for us. So, but exactly, we like Dirk. So we try, not to, being closer to our clients in order to agree on different terms of payment, delay of payment, in particular in retail sector. So we agreed that until shops are closed, we do not charge anything, and then when the work starts again, we will ask again with the late payment.
Dirk, you mentioned that you have a policy that you don't reduce your fees. What about your market competitors? Because what we face is the argument from, for instance, a banking client that your competition is actually reducing fees, and you need to adjust.
I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point. We hear from our competitors that they go the same route here in Germany by not reducing but postponing payment. I hear from Switzerland totally different. I heard that big firms partly work for half of their fees, which shows that the market is obviously under a lot of pressure. But I mean, we've done the same in the last crisis, 2008 or before. We try to keep the same rates, and we have 2 new acquisitions last week with our usual rates. Both came from the US, and also to our astonishment, this was accepted without any further discussion. So it really depends on each case, but in general, we have the impression the competition keeps also the rates.
It looks, Lucas, like it's probably different, you know, in each of the European countries as opposed to being a European-wide issue.
I think in the UK it hasn't really hit us yet, but in certain areas where work will start drying up, then there will be a lot more competitive pressure. And for us, our danger is that the magic circle firms start bottom feeding and start buying in the work. But we'll just have to react to that.
I'm sorry if I jump, but just received an email from the IBA and a committee will belong to that the Miami conference has been postponed.
Oh yeah.
Oh. We are one step ahead of the IBA.
Yeah, she's literally, Christo's just put it on the chat room.
Yeah. Is there a new date?
To postpone it, yeah.
Is there a new date or just postponed?
It's in Miami, goes in 2022, October 30, and so the next one will be October 21 in Paris. So they moved 3 years in Miami.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You heard it here live.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, that's perfect because we're 1 minute short of the hour. Brilliant. I like to keep my sessions on time. So I'll send an email out in advance. Rather than me, even though I will say in my email, let me have any issues that you'd like us particularly to find speakers for in relation to our new monthly webinar things. Can you actually think about issues that you'd like to hear about and just email me? I'll remind you in the email, but it's a lot easier if people can just send me what they think would be of interest. And hopefully between all of us, either we'll be able to talk about our experience or we'll find an independent third party to do that. And then the next one, have we got the date for the next one, Margaret, already? Or
It should be 2 weeks from today.
Yeah,
which will be on
thoughts that 26?
The 26th.
26.
Okay. So again, Margaret will send out an invite to register on, but it'll be 2 weeks, and we'll be talking about how all of the mainland Europeans have gone back to work, tried to get into their offices, tried to use public transport, tried to use common area lavatories, etc., much to the amusement of me, Crispin, and Nick.
Well, I can tell you, we have had it like that all the time in Sweden. It's great.
we have it since last week, so.
Good. Well, don't spoil the surprise. Don't spoil.
No. Sorry about that.
Very good. Right. Okay. Well, from Lockdown UK, lovely to see everyone, and keep safe. See you in a couple of weeks.
Yes, and Margaret from WSG, thank you very much for helping us.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.